will
Too close.
give you a,
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go here and have a seat,
okay,
yeah?
that would be great. So let's take the next few minutes. What time is it? Before you start, Winifred, could you quickly come? We have a little token of appreciation for your awesome performance. We love you so much. Most of you, well, some of you were here 8 years ago when we brought Ingrid and she performed Demerara Gold. How many of you, raise your hands if you were? And Ingrid, do you see how many of the folks came back?
I remember, I've seen faces, but
Yeah.
President Devlin, I know him too, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you all for being here.
So, if you have a question, raise your hand and we'll get to you. Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Carolyn Jones Smith, and this is Joan Middleton Jackson. We were Mrs. Chisholm's Chisettes. She was in Congress. I was the first secretary. When she typed the book Unbought and Unbossed.
Yes.
When Mrs. Chisholm made the bid to run for president, I was pregnant looking like a Goodyear blimp. And I said, why? She says, Carolyn, you don't question me. I said, well, don't you think that maybe if you ran for the Senate, you would have 6 more years, because you're not going to be president? She says, that is not the problem, young lady. You've been with me long enough to know that. I said, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just loved her. That was
Yes,
just
we did.
the beginning of my career on Capitol Hill and Carolyn's.
Yes,
too.
that was my first.
That was our really first job on Capitol Hill, so we were. Right. But we watched the formation of the Congressional Black Caucus with all of the black men, and one woman came in at the time. It was a very exciting time, totally different, just a memory that I will always have. And I keep this little paper, and so when I heard that you were going to be here, I called Carolyn and said, we are going. So that was really nice. We enjoyed you.
Thank you.
We had a staff of all females at the time.
Wow.
So I said, rather than just call each other by name, we refer to ourselves as the Chisettes. Thank you, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh,
You did a fantastic job.
I'm so glad to hear that from you. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead, DJ Quinn. Here's a mic.
Pleasure. Awesome performance. And I was asking Dr. Foreman, how is she meticulously getting ready to get on stage, and how do you retain all this information to present like this? How do you do it?
God is good. All the time. Yeah, it's work, and but it's about, like anything else, it's dedication and preparation and consistency and repetition, and yeah, and then we pray and then we let it go and come out here and see what happens. Yes.
Yes, once again, fantastic performance. Thank you so much. I'm curious as to what inspired you to want to be Shirley. When you look at all that she went through, you also as an actor are sort of embodying that, and it may have a toll on you. So what made you want to fulfill this role?
I did not know much about Shirley Chisholm growing up, and I saw a documentary, and it was talking about the 1972 run, the candidates, and she, of course, was one of the many Democratic candidates. And I was kind of like pissed off, I guess. And like, how come I didn't know about this in high school and college? I was out of college. And how come there was no women's studies, women history course that had featured, talking about Shirley Chisholm, no books in high school, nothing? So I decided to begin researching her because I wanted to know, actually what I'm doing here is what I wanted to know, how did she get there? And as a Black woman, we all, a woman of color, we know how hard it is. And for over 50 years ago to be running for president of the United States, it was like, to me, it's mind-boggling. And I really wanted to know what her background was like, how it all worked out. Step by step, I needed to know for myself. As I was researching it, I was amazed and surprised that her dad was from Guyana, and I'm from Guyana. Her mom was Barbadian. I knew she was Caribbean, but I wasn't sure where. I was surprised that she was left as a kid to go to Barbados and spent 7 years there and came back at age 10. My parents left me in Guyana when I was 7 years old, and I rejoined them in the US at age 12. So there was a similarity about that outsider perspective that I have, that I really connected when I heard her story. It was like, it's the same thing. I'm odd. All of a sudden, I'm odd, right? You're in Barbados, you're in Guyana, you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden, it's like, people are laughing at you. You don't dress the same, you don't look the same, you don't talk the same, and that starts to put you outside of the box, right? And as a kid, as a 12-year-old, as you know, that's a hard time to not fit in, and you want to fit in. So that was something that really, really connected with me. And then there's something about her spirit that I think she's an amazing human being. And I was like, how could she be so relentless in her passion, in her courage? Then I realized, of course, in the research, her dad was such a force as well. And thank you. I thought that is what I also wanted to share. I wanted to bring the family into the mix because that's how we become who we become, right? It starts as the kid, as the child, as the parents, what they're looking for, what they're expecting, how they pump the information, how they embrace you, how they encourage you. And her dad was like this amazing soul. And so that got me saying, well, there's my story. The family, I really want to show the poverty and the immigrant experience, which I know, and then this child coming and her brilliance and people missing the brilliance, the teachers, always, and I was like, and then, because that happened with me as well, for years, I didn't have a dad as encouraging as Shirley Chisholm, but, so all that, I didn't know I was going to be getting, but when I got it, I was like, I'm going with this. I'm writing this story. Of course, it was a lot of information that I collected. I researched it for 2.5 years, and then started writing for another 2.5 years, and then started workshopping it. So it really had a lot of fixing to do, carving out as the writer, because I had so much information, because it's a true story. So I needed to get as much as that was available, and then decide what I wanted to take to make the arc. So yeah, I needed to do it for myself.
Oh, I want to ask, how did you begin your career in drama and acting?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
How did you begin your career as a drama and actor?
Yeah, I think it's the outsider thing that I felt when I came to the US. And I was an outsider for a long time. I think even in college I was still that outsider type. And I really wanted to, I wasn't that kind of kid when I was a kid, when I was in Guyana. So I think acting helped me to be the person or the people that I know I could, in the sense that I'm still now in this box called the outsider. But in my heart, I wanted to be this, be that, because I knew that all those things were in me. And I think the other thing is, you have to let it out. I had to let it out somewhere, and I think that's where I felt comfortable, because it was like, oh, where did she come from? Who's this now? Like, because they don't expect these things to come out of my mouth. But if I'm in character, it's understandable. So I felt safe being going into character. And I think it had to do with this immigrant experience, because as a kid in Guyana, I wanted to be a teacher. That's it. I as an adult, that keeps me going. I'm also a teaching artist. So it helps with the acting, because you know how acting is, right? You can't eat, you can't pay rent, but, so, yeah.
Your performance was excellent, amazing. Will it be in this area? Will you be performing in this metropolitan area?
Do you want to invite me? I'll be here. Tell me, when? Well, that's the thing, this has been a grassroots endeavor, and very much like Shirley Chisholm. I have to tell you this, I have become Shirley Chisholm. I get up in the morning, and when things are daunting, like, oh dear, what's the next right thing to make? I said, what would Shirley Chisholm do? And then I do it. So whether I want to do it or not, because I know Shirley will play. Right? She dusts herself off and she goes, and that's what I've been doing. So it's a grassroots endeavor that's gaining traction because I'm just telling people, here it is. Please, let's share this story. And I think it really would help the younger generation as well.
Yes.
Because they don't know a clue, they don't have a clue, and they really need some to know where they're really from and who they came from, the stuff they came from, and to celebrate that, because then you're empowering yourself. I think that's why I'm telling you I'm becoming Shirley Chisholm. Now I talk. I don't play. I don't care. You can get me.
I want to, of course, agree that you did a fabulous job. I'm from Barbados. I really loved your accent. You got it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Here you are.
You got it right on the nose.
Thank you.
And it was a wonderful, and I'm from New York. Came to New York just around a little before Shirley really became public. But as far as the family was concerned, she was the point. She was the point. She was the one that the parents always said, now, Shirley Chisholm would not do that. You know, and even though it wasn't in the history books, there was no book, there was no chat, talk, or discussion about her in the schools.
Yes.
It was in our homes. I will tell you that. Caribbean or non-Caribbean. You got it on point.
Oh, thank you.
Good evening. I just wanted to thank Desiree for inviting me here this evening. I was extremely captivated. I was literally sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm a lover of the arts. Recently, 8 years now, I've migrated to the US. I live in Virginia. Was always active in the arts in Guyana. I really felt it. I wanted to come here. I'm happy I'm here. Sometime last year, I attended another Episcopal church in Brooklyn, where another young lady did one act play on Harriet Tubman. And that too was extremely motivating. I know you're very passionate. I know the effort it takes to do your type of job, and I'm extremely impressed. I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Desiree.
Thank you. I do want to thank quite a few people. Desiree, the former, Dr. Desiree, the former. Some of you know, some of you, the members know that this is my third time in the area because of the Cambridge Alumni Academy Association International. It's the C with 3 A's and an I. That's how I kind of keep it clear. And I so appreciate that, that I feel like I'm part of a community that is honoring the work and also appreciating this, sharing these experiences, this story with their community, because that's what really they're doing. And so I thank you, Cambridge Academy, Alumni Association Academy, CAAI, I thank you all. I know I see familiar faces. I want to thank Lionel Charles and EJ at the desk. Not easy, and when you come from out of town and it's a new thing and it's not, and one night, we have one chance. So I really appreciate both of them. Much thanks. And it's a solo show, but it really does take a village. It really does. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Your stage manager.
Oh, my, she's like, you forgot someone, and I tend to do that. Richland, Emmanuel, I thank you. She was backstage, getting the wig on the hand, putting the slips together. Yeah. Thank you so much. Pulling all this together as well. You know, once again, it's like people chip in. And it really is about community, and I think Shirley Chisholm would so appreciate it because that's what she was about. Forming alliances, forming coalitions. She's like, you don't have to, you and I don't have to be like tight, perfect together. You look your skills, my skills, your skills. That's how we make it work. Forget about, you know, we gotta be this or we can't work. No. Find it in us to work together. Find the strengths and appreciate each other. And I really appreciate this. I feel that about this organization that has hosted me. And I thank you again.
And thank you for sharing this wonderful legacy with us. Thank you and have a good night.